Okay, so the theme for 2025 is rising higher, growing deeper. The theme for January is stretching into the possibility. Our topic for today is It Flows. Ernest Holmes wrote, "We are surrounded by a mind or intelligence that knows everything. The abstract essence of beauty, truth, and wisdom coexist in the mind of the universe. We also exist in it and may draw from it. But what we draw from it, we must draw through the channel of our own minds." Let's affirm together. The nature of the divine flows through me, as me, celebrating my highest good. Join me now in welcoming Reverend Dr. Kathleen. I invite you to listen deeply for Spirit's message that is just for you.
Thank you, Carla. Yeah, it's so good to affirm together to start off these messages. I'm so happy Dan put that graphic up about the tree because that is such a beautiful symbol of what we are focused on this month. So let's just revisit what's happening here in 2025. So last year was all about the grand rising in consciousness. And so this year is about not only rising even higher, but doing it by growing deeper in our connection with spirit and consciousness, our connection with that awareness of oneness and wholeness. And so this month, then we are growing deeper in connection and rising higher in vibration by stretching into possibilities. And I love the term possibilitarian. Let us call ourselves possibilitarians to remind ourselves that we truly live in a field of all possibilities and all potentialities. We are surrounded by a universal mind that we can draw upon to continue to create and thrive in our lives. And so this particular month, we are focused on the beginning, the Introduction to Science of Mind, the Science of Mind textbook, which I have right here. This is what mine looks like. There are a couple different versions of it, but and then at the very beginning, there's something called the introduction. I don't know if you can see that. The introduction, and it has four chapters, four parts of it, Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. So Ernest Holmes, when he's talking about the thing itself, he's talking about God. He's talking about the mind of God. He's talking about the ultimate stuff, the intelligence, the first cause, the spirit, the essence of all that exists, and the power behind creation, in other words, the creator. And also he's talking about this presence that uses universal laws by contemplating new ideas. I mean, that's kind of our human way of looking at it, that then become things through law. And this is when we do a spiritual mind treatment, we remind ourselves of this by saying something to the effect of, all there is God, one life, one source, one presence, one power, and I am that life individualized. I am that life uniquely expressing. So the thing itself, that's that part. And then there's the way it works. And the it is talking about the law, the universal law. And keep in mind, this universal law is a creative medium that surrounds us. We can call it energy or whatever we want. And Ernest Holmes puts it this way. I love what he says. He says, we are surrounded by an infinite possibility that is goodness, life, law, and reason. And expressing through us it, the law or God, well, let's say it, God, becomes more conscious of its own being. Therefore, it, Spirit or God, wishes to express through us. Therefore, let's have faith in this Spirit and its desires and its abilities to do for us all that we should ever need. Since Spirit must pass or flow through our consciousness to operate for us, we must be conscious that it is doing so. The more we bring our consciousness and awareness to this flow of spirit, this flow of divine inspiration. So, I'm going to change that. That's just a greater description of so-called the thing itself. So we are inlets and outlets of this flow of universal mind, seeking greater expression, creative expression uniquely through us. I'd like to illustrate that with what's called a child's version of the Lord's Prayer. I don't know if you've heard this before, but listen to this. Our Father who does art in heaven, right, Lisa, and Linda, who does art in heaven. Harold is his name. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us some email. And forgive us our trash baskets as we forgive those who put trash in our baskets. I love that illustration because it is such a beautiful way of having fun while understanding how universal law works. The child is an inlet and an outlet of that divine flow of all possibility in universal mind. And it flows through the child's particular filter, their own perspective, their own belief structure, their own life experience, and into expression, into a unique expression. And so this is how it works for all of us. And infinite possibility then flows through the filter of our own subconscious mind and its belief structure to produce our own unique expression of life. That's the way that the law works. And that's what it does too, which is that next section. So to truly benefit from the science of mind teaching, and I want to make something very clear about science of mind. What Ernest Holmes is talking about when he uses that term is he's talking about universal mind. So science of universal mind might be a way, or science of spirit, universal mind. And the science part is a clear understanding that there are laws and principles for us to understand in order to use the creative law effectively, and not only for our own highest good, but for the highest good of all. So to truly benefit from the science of mind teaching, we must be really clear on how universal law works. And it requires this. It requires tracing the connection between the effects in our lives. We just look at our lives, how it shows up, all different levels, whether it's our lifestyle, our surroundings, our career, our ways of expressing, our relationships, the way we relate to others. All of these are called effects, and the effects in our lives have a cause in back of them. So what we do in Science of Mind is trace the effects back to the cause so that we're able to look at it. And then if it's something that we don't like in our world of effects, we don't go shifting the things in the world of effects to get the change. We change the belief structure that is producing that. And so we go to the cause, the root cause in the subconscious mind. Now, a lot of these patterns I understand are hidden. So we might be thinking, but I don't believe that, I've been affirming this, that, and the other. But it just means that there is another opportunity to disconnect from that belief structure and to neutralize it with spiritual truth. And we do that with something called spiritual mind treatment, which is a great way to do it. So our teaching encourages us to discover mental causes of our experiences so that we can change them. So if we use words of spiritual truth rooted in love and possibility, then the effects are going to reflect that in our lives, aligning with the good that we desire and aligning with who we want to be, who we want to show up in truth. So I can only imagine, are you thinking, but I believe in the oneness of spirit. I believe in being the presence of love. I believe in that all possibility is available to me. So why do I have still have challenges in this particular area of my life? And so again, it just means there's a hidden belief that is shaping the divine flow. And so we can just discover that and work on neutralizing that. Buddha said, everything that happens to us is the result of what we ourselves have thought, said, or done. We alone are responsible for our lives. Now, notice he didn't use the word blame, because this is not about blaming ourselves. This is about curiosity. I wonder what caused that. And it's about responsibility, which means the ability to respond to the effect with a new thought that will dismantle the hidden belief and help us to thrive in those new thoughts. And as those new thoughts take form and shape in our subconscious mind. So that's the way it works, the law works and what it does. So how to use it, how to use the universal law. Confucius said, the more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world. That's how you use it. You focus on what you want upon good thoughts. So the good news is then that this conscious use of universal law of mind, which means focusing on what we want, focusing on the good, the true, and the beautiful, is accessible to everyone. Everyone has that ability. And so those who understand how the law works and consciously use it derive the benefits. So just observe people in your life who are happy, optimistic, courageous, faith-filled, possibility thinkers, and creators. What is their attitude toward life and toward themselves and toward others? I mean, just notice that. And then now consider those who frequently struggle, are often upset, and generally unhappy. What is their attitude toward themselves and the world? So the creative medium or law is constantly being shaped by our thoughts, and it's really the dominant thoughts. So if you have a little stray thought here and there that goes off in the wrong direction, this is not, it's okay. We can get realigned. And so it's the dominant tendency of our thoughts that shapes our reality, not only as individuals, but as groups of people. So the dominant way of thinking flows into expression. So let us consciously direct this great power then for a more fulfilling and vibrant life. I know that there are many great examples of that in history, and since Martin Luther King's birthday is coming up, his celebration, I was just reminded, I was thinking about his life and how he planted the idea of beloved community, a world that works for all, in his I Have a Dream speech. So that is not only firmly planted, and was not only firmly planted in his own mind, but because he broadcast it far and wide, and it still keeps bringing up at least once a year. And beyond that, and of course, our communities as centers for spiritual living are keeping that idea of beloved community and a world that works for all alive on a regular basis, continuing to plant that in universal mind and knowing that it is taking root and growing in, through, and as our consciousness and showing up in our lives. So the law is always in motion, my friends. Our feelings are the effects of our thoughts and beliefs. And so let us use those feelings to and the other effects of our lives to uncover the mental causes. And so if there is discord, well, actually look in your own life at this point in time. Is there discord or harmony, anger or joy, trust or skepticism, acceptance or repulsion? Whatever it is, I encourage you to notice it, observe it. This is where you can be the scientist with curiosity. I wonder what the mental cause is behind that. So we can unplug from that mental cause and replace it with spiritual truth. And so this is the practice. This is the practice for this week, is to notice and shift and change, and then watch how your lives change, as within, so without. Let us turn within in prayer, knowing that in this perfect and powerful and present moment that God is all there is. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. And this all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, as us. So let us lift up our minds and our hearts to be aware, to understand, and to know the divine presence, I am, is the source and substance of all our supply. That source resides within us. It flows through us and as us. And so all we need do is to get out of the way. So I'm claiming and knowing that all of the belief patterns that inhibit, delay, or deny, or obstruct that flow of divine inspiration, spiritual truth of who we are, is now on alert and dissolved and collapsed back into the nothingness from which it came, and that we are present. We are present and available to witness and notice when these mental causes that create effects that we don't want come up, that we are great observers. I'm claiming and knowing we are great observers and therefore able to shift into a higher state of being, a higher state of awareness, that we are great possibilitarians living in that field of possibility and potentiality, being aware that we live in that field of all possibility and potentiality. And therefore, our lives, I'm just going to say, we continue to grow deeper in our connection with spirit, and we are growing higher in the frequency of light, love, peace, joy, intelligence, wisdom, power, the beautiful goodness and glory and grace and wholeness of the God self that we are. And therefore, our lives are a beautiful demonstration and reflection of that expansion in consciousness. For this, I am so grateful. And I release this word to the action of universal law and celebrate that it is done. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, my friends. And so now I would like to bring our beautiful songstress, Deb, back up on the screen to just read.